are we chasing for? After being comfortable, we are now looking for papers. We are looking for documents. This is where you start chasing permanent residency. This is where you start chasing citizenship. And now, looking at these countries, first, let me tell you why Canada is the best country so far to immigrate to as an international. I do not know what type of visa you are going to be using. Focus here is to explain something to you so you understand why it is important for you to move to Canada now as an immigrant. Yesterday, first of all, if you are new to the channel, my name is Milton. Thank you so much for joining. I dropped a post on my Facebook page. I'm going to show you somewhere here. I dropped that post, and on that post I said take 4.8 million and relocate. Full stop. Where are you going to? I put Switzerland, I put Canada, and I put Germany. Now, I was putting this post because I wanted to see something. I wanted to analyze something to know where people are actually heading to. On that 4 million, remember I was talking about CFA francs, or maybe something equivalent to 4 million naira. A lot of people were commenting. That post, I think as of now, that post has like 100 comments. A lot of people were commenting. Then I realized that about 70% of the people who replied to that post, who commented on that post, wanted to move to Canada. I read some two people came around and they said, one person said 4.8 million cannot move to any of these countries. Of course, I know that it cannot move to any of these countries, but in the case you are not the one producing your proof of funds, like you are not the one showing your bank statement for Canada, you are not the one showing your bank statement for Switzerland, or you are not the one doing your blocks account, then if you have your own personal 4 million, it is good to go. But now I wanted to see something, and I knew that a lot of people will go for Canada. Now this is the reason. I've been reading about Canada for over 2 months now. What caught my attention was a comment. Somebody in Canada, let me say, somebody actually said, well, Canada is facing a lot of issues. Of course, Canada is facing a lot of issues, a lot of refugees issues, crises, like every other country. But looking at Canada now, I can tell you categorically clear that Canada is the country now that if you have a means to immigrate to, run and move to Canada. Do you know why? This is a comment I wrote, someone wrote on the post. I asked on that comment, but why is it that everybody wants to move to Canada? And a professor, he's a professor at a university in Australia. We are from actually the same village, so I know this person very well. He's a big fan of my work. So the professor wrote, Milton, Canada is a strongly multicultural country and the government there protects the rights of everyone. Anyone from any part of the globe would easily fit and adjust into the Canadian mainstream communities. This is not a lie. This is pure facts. Its official languages are English and French, and most people around the world use English as a medium of communication. Pure facts. I don't know, because I know some people will still come here and say it's Chinese, it's Portuguese, it's Japanese, but this is pure facts. That cannot be said of some European countries that have their own language, and migrants would find it hard and difficult to not only to adjust in the new country, but also face the challenge of learning a new language. And this is intelligent from this professor. Now, let's look at it. For those of you who didn't understand why Canada is the new destination, this is an answer from a professor in Australia. Okay, now let me tell you, do you know why Prof was insisting on this? For example, Canada is not just good. I want to bring evidence here. If you have anything different from mine, please drop a comment in the comment section. Let us talk from there. Now, looking at Canada, yes, immigration wise, all these countries, they are difficult. Of course, you need to show proof of funds for all of them. Of course, let's forget about the money part. Most of us, we don't travel to these countries because we really just want to hustle for maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. No, most of us, we are traveling to these countries because we want to make money. Point number one, we want to raise a family. Point number two, we want to establish in some of these countries because we are not comfortable in our home countries. Am I lying? You guys can Classify with me in the comment section. This is pure facts. And what are we chasing for? After being comfortable, we are now looking for papers. We are looking for documents. This is where you start chasing permanent residency. This is where you start chasing citizenship. And now looking at these countries, first, Germany used to be like, if you want to have maybe permanent residency and citizenship in Germany, it takes at least 8 years. But now the government recently passed a bill. You are going to watch my video maybe before this one or after this one. The government recently passed a bill which says that if you studied in Germany, now you can have your citizenship in 5 years. Right now, and they are also contemplating if they are going to add the number of years you use as an international student in Germany to also count as part of the citizenship you are going to get in Germany. That is 5 years. They are saying that some category of people, maybe people with high paid jobs and of course language requirements, can apply and get it in 3 years. Have you heard of it? Language requirements. Let's go to Canada. For you to be a permanent resident in Canada, first you can leave your home country and move to Canada as a permanent resident. Which country around the world does that? Let me know in the comment section. When you go to Canada as an international student, you can finish your school maybe in 1 year or 2 years. You get a job. After 6 months, you apply for PR, permanent residency. Which country does that? Let me know in the comment section. Then after maybe 3 years of being a permanent resident in Canada, you can now apply for citizenship and become a Canadian citizen with a passport, and you have voting rights as well. Which other country does that, like giving you citizenship in 3 years? Which country can give you that? That is my question. Now, this, alongside the other advantages, there are a lot of advantages. Even if you are not qualified, you have the chance to enroll and get a diploma, get a license to practice in Canada and do every other thing. So looking at it, Canada has a lot of opportunities, and it's easy for internationals to sit well or to fit into the economy. And again, the government protects the citizen. I'm not saying that the government in these other countries doesn't protect the citizen. I'm not saying that. All right, let's just look at the facts and things you stand to benefit. Just the fact that you can get easy PR and easy citizenship without wasting a lot of time. Brother and sister, if you have your money and you find your way to Canada, move immediately. I don't sugarcoat my words here, but if you are not comfortable, if you are comfortable, fine. If you have the money and you want to do business, fine. We do not have the same goals in life, but if your destination is to jackpot immediately without wasting a lot of time. Now, looking at Switzerland, let's forget about the language in Germany. Let me quote Switzerland. Do you know that in Switzerland, in Geneva, in Zurich, in Basel, all right, and in other cities in Switzerland, they don't speak one language. They speak English, they speak Italian, they speak German, and they speak French. A lot of people don't know this. Yes. Now, let's assume that maybe you go to Geneva and it's not moving well. You want to move to Zurich. Will you go to Geneva or maybe to a place where they speak German and try to learn the German? Or you will be going back to a place where they speak Italian and you are struggling to learn Italian? If you look at it very well, you see that the immigration policy of Canada is very, very relaxed. Very, very relaxed. You just need to have all your resources and you are good to go. So this is what you need to know about jackpot process. Don't just jackpot. Of course, a lot of people are arguing that if they have the money, they will not spend it. They will not spend it and travel abroad. They will open businesses in Africa. To me, if I want to open a business, it should be real estate. Nothing else, nothing less. Real estate. Can you open a real estate business with 5 million? I don't know how you can do it with 5 million. I don't know how people do it. But if you think you can do it, well, do it. But for us, or maybe for somebody like me, it's a no-no for me. So please, looking at the countries now around the world, Canada has the best immigration policy so far. Like right now, there are even other streams. You can move to Canada, and after maybe 1 year, 2 years, you are a permanent resident, and after a few years, you are a citizen. like the Atlantic immigration program, the pilot program, the Quebec skilled worker program, pilot program. So if you have to look at it, you can even move to Canada as a student. After maybe 2 years, you are a permanent resident. In New Brunswick, if you move to New Brunswick, there is a tendency that after 6 months, you can become a permanent resident in New Brunswick. This is one of the provinces in Canada. So please make sure you put this into consideration and look at other factors